Thinking back, then I realized track could take me beyond Bermuda was actually 1983. It was my first athletic competition away from my family, outside of Bermuda, and I managed to make the finals. There, the penny dropped that I want to do this for the rest of my life.
At the beginning of my career, I was always an underdog, and it pushed me to find that actual motivation and be consistent in my training. You'll find those moments in races where you really feel like giving up and maybe dropping out, but just finding that extra edge, that extra grit, right? You say to yourself, I'm gonna just give it my all until I cross that finish line.
An athlete that I'm currently working with now who's about to go off to university. He came to me a mere 18 months ago. Never ran track before in his life. Came to me and when he first showed up, I was like, yeah, coach is pretty fast. But one thing that he had is that mental grit.
Set.
My name is Norrè. I'm 17 years old. I do the 100 and 200 meters, and I'm gonna go to Louisiana Tech University.
My name is DeVon. Currently the National Director of Athletics for Bermuda. Former Olympic athlete, sprinter, and jumper, and I'm here at National Stadium to help facilitate a documentary on grit behind performance.
My name is Ryan Outerbridge. A distance runner here in Bermuda. I just finished out my eligibility at Franklin Pierce University running Division II track.
Grit to me is when you tell yourself no, even when your body wants to give up. A workout that always did that to me is 3x300 meters. It's always at the end of that last 300, that last 150 meters when you just want to stop, when your legs are in pain and you're feeling all heavy. You just have to keep going and tell yourself a no and look for the goal, because that's when it matters the most.
He challenged me on the workouts that I was giving him. Why are we doing this, coach? What's the significance of this? And as athletes, we have to be student athletes, educated athletes. I saw something that would enable him to not only have mental grit, but that physical grit that he needed to go to a championship event and compete well against the world's best.
For me, I've always had grit and determination from a young age since I started track. So I would say I was just born with it. In running, you're always gonna have physical grit and mental grit. All the miles that I put in every single day. Whenever I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like going for a run, but I know I have to do it. It's a mental battle just as much as it is physical.
I just trust the work that I put in, and now it's just, the racing is fun because I know that the racing isn't gonna be as hard as the workouts. So I just like to have fun in the races now, which makes it easier to run.
I always felt that I had to prove to not only myself but Bermuda. During an athlete's Olympic journey, it could become quite lonely. And proven to my family that I was worthy of them coming out of pocket, as well as local businesses offering the services to me to allow me to live out this childhood dream of becoming a professional athlete.
At the beginning of my career, I was always an underdog, and it pushed me to find that grit and that extra motivation and be consistent in my training. When I first started out running track, I was always undersized. I was much smaller than the other athletes. I just had to work that little bit harder than everybody else because I was so small. I guess that kind of pushed me to like work harder and like be determined and get that grit and that fight.
I definitely feel like I'm an underdog, especially when I race in international races, because I've been doing track for 2 years and I'm racing against people who've been doing it since they were 8 years old.
I haven't always been the most talented athlete in Bermuda. There have been many athletes in my age who have been faster and more talented, but I've just stuck with it and I've just been more consistent with my training and I just never give up. So I feel like I just want it more than everybody else.
The hill sprints, the repeat 300s, the sled pulls, the running the sand dunes, the heavyweight training sessions. Those types of things build grit and build character. Because you go to a championship and you might have to run 3 dynamic races in a 2-day period. Run as fast as you can. So if you don't dip into that grit, physically and mentally in training, there's no way you're gonna dip into that grit physically and mentally when you come to that competition.
In 2021, I was competing with Franklin Pierce. It was a cross-country race in Chicago, and I started, everything was going well, and I don't really remember much from the race, but at some point in that race, it just got really tough, and I just had to like battle through it. And you know, I'm not the type of guy to just like quit and just like drop out and just give up. You know, I'm always gonna fight through it because I have that grit, and I always want to give 110% whenever I compete. I don't remember crossing the finish line, but all I remember is waking up in the hospital, and I mean, I just like battled through all the adversity in that race, and I finished it. You know, I just pushed through those barriers. I push my body to the limit every time I compete. I guess I'm kind of hard-headed because I kind of like push through like the hard and difficult moments in races a little more than I should.
I wasn't very good at 200 meters because it was my first 6 months of training and I didn't really have any endurance. So I kind of just stepped into the fire and I had to really push. The last 100 meters after I came off the turn was just like one of the most painful 200s I've ever ran. So I really had to like push through it, use that grit. I've definitely started to race more relaxed, especially in this season. I knew that I could have ran faster. It was actually that night I just sat in my bed and I just repeated to myself, this will never happen again.
there are no handouts. There are no handouts. I constantly preach it's okay being the fastest in your school. It's okay being the fastest in your age group or the fastest in Bermuda. But in order for you to become the fastest or competitive outside of these shores, you have to show grit.
Coming from such a small island, we're always going to be an underdog, you know? So just that underdog story, it pushes you to go the extra mile.
Bermuda is definitely an underdog, especially because we don't have a lot of people doing track. So there's not a lot of internal competition to really push people to be on the same level as other countries who have a bigger pool of people to do track and field. I'm pretty much doing all the training by myself. So with endurance sessions and speed sessions, it's just me against me, but at least now I have someone to like act as motivation. So it's not just, oh, I'm doing this training so I can run fast. It's like an additional, I'm doing this training so I can beat this guy.
I would say going abroad to America, competing in the NCAA, it helped me a lot. But I would say the biggest change for me was that I learned how to actually race. Not so much like just running for time. I'm more so of a racer now. I run to win.
Anybody can run fast. Usain Bolt has this famous saying, everybody can run fast, but not a lot of people can race. And once you get that taste of winning, you don't want it to go away.
It's just a natural instinct for me. I'm a competitor. I always want to win whenever I step foot on the track.
I love the feeling of winning. I love the feeling of putting my country and my family on my back.
Growing up competing in track and field in Bermuda, I've seen a lot of athletes who have grit and determination. So I would say that is definitely a thing in Bermuda for athletes to have that grit. And it's actually funny because at my school, my coach, it's this big thing where my coach would like scream out to me in the middle of a race. He'll be like, "Where are you from?" And I'll be like, "Bermuda," because like out there, Bermudians are known to like have that grit and like we fight in races, you know. We don't give up. We got that dog in us, you know. And I feel like the coaches in Bermuda, they always like preach to us about having like that fight, you know, prove all the doubters wrong, you know. You want to prove that Bermudians have good athletes and Bermudians can compete on the global stage and the highest level of competition.
Our most recent 4x1 actually ran the second fastest relay in history on our first try, and we had 2 motorcycle accidents and 4 injuries, and to be second fastest ever is just, you know that we're gonna be the best.
Just like Flora came right here from Bermuda. She grew up running track in Bermuda, and now she's winning Olympic gold medals. Bermuda, 21 square miles long, has Olympic gold medals. So I feel like that moment right there motivated me to like, and a lot of other up and coming athletes in Bermuda. It taught us that we can like compete with the best in the world, really, you know.
Us as Bermudians have to find a deep found purpose to enable us, if I can use this as a word, to become grittier. But if we really want to do damage, whether it's in track and field, cricket, golf, we have to find that word that's begins with that G, grit.
30 seconds. Ready.
As a Bermudian, I get my grit from the pursuit of being different because, I didn't come on this planet to be like everyone else. And if that means that I have to be nearly flatlining on the floor, so be it.
And when your legs start to build that lactic acid, you just have to like push through it, because like pain is temporary. You could push through pain. In a marathon, you'll definitely have those moments where maybe you're not feeling the best and your legs start to give out on you, but you just have to like push through those barriers, those 5-10 minutes of pain. Just get through it and just tell yourself to get through this next mile. My first Carifta Games, there was a coach that told all us athletes competing at that Carifta Games, they were like, just give it your all. Like, no matter how hard it is, just give it your all. If you fall over at the finish line, I'll be right there at the finish line to catch you.
And you could be the most athletic and most gifted athlete there was, but if you don't tap into that, you sell yourself short, and you always wonder why, or have that question, what if?
When you start falling that starting line, everybody bleeds blood just like you.
Track's definitely taught me like self-discipline and self-love, and how saying no is like very important in loving yourself, because that's how you grow, by doing things that make you uncomfortable. It's really helped me to stay focused on what I have to do and study even when I don't feel comfortable, or even giving presentations in front of people, just enjoying the uncomfort.
One way I tap into grit is simply looking back at the people that sacrificed for me in order for me to have lived out this childhood dream. My mom, my dad, my stepbrothers, my teachers, they all play a role in this. And personally, I use that as an example of grit, because that's my way of giving back to them, or showing them that what they've done for me allows me to tap in to that mental fortitude that you need to become the best.
I think the future for the next generation of track is very bright, and I want to hopefully encourage everyone who's new to track or still doing track that wants to get better. I just want to encourage them to go through the grit.
To see the results finally be put together in competition, to get that win, that victory, is such a relief. It's just a great feeling to know that like all the hard work and dedication is finally coming to play.